Welcome everyone to our meeting for the Whitley County Board of Commissioners for Monday, April 19th, 2021. We'll start our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we'll start out with our attorney, Matt Shipman.
Hi, good afternoon. A couple of things that are on the agenda for later. I've kind of worked with Jennifer on the emergency closings review, and that's fine. Becky Salaway is bringing, Becky's there, I didn't see her back there. She has a procurement policy that INDOT's making her adopt as part of their funding. I've looked at that as gave us both, I think, kind of a headache because it's about 6 million trees thick, but it looks fine. It's just INDOT's procurement policy. Yeah. Other than that, the only other real things that are going on is, the tort claims, which you guys are aware of. And the only reason I bring those up is I think they kind of stress the importance of us tackling the jail problem because we continue to get more and more of those. A lot of the things I think, if we weren't so crowded, could be eliminated or helped with. So for the public, I guess.
Okay.
Although there's nobody from the public. Anyway. Unless you guys have questions for me necessarily.
Just one, has there been any forward movement with the purchase agreement on the property?
We're still waiting. You two were on that phone call. Lisa Lee had said that she needed to investigate whether or not we needed to do it differently. The way we had set it up initially was to do, and this was for Don's benefit because of the tax consequences, was to do 3 payments over 3 separate years. Because of the time period in which we're trying to do this, Lisa doesn't think we can do it that way. And I'm just waiting to hear back from her. I will follow up with her. George and I talked about that last Friday, I think, and he thought that probably if we have to pay it all at once, that'll still be okay. We'll just may have to change the number a little bit to kind of encapsulate those tax consequences. So as soon as I hear from Lisa, I'll circle with you, the commissioners, and then from there, kind of reach out to Don via Marcia and see where we're at, or maybe have you do that, initiate that. So that's where we're at.
Thank you.
I think the money's there. It's just a matter of the mechanism and making sure we don't mess it up. Right. So that we can't do the jail for a period of time for some reason. But
I think Don may be okay with it right now with the new tax basis that's going to be coming up, and he'll probably save money by doing it all at once.
Yeah. And that might, if that's the case, then, frankly, I think buying it and being done and closing sooner and being cleaner, especially given how quickly you guys want to move in the jail, we should just do it that way as long as Don doesn't care. So maybe just reach out to him, find out if he does, and maybe we don't even have to adjust the price. In which case I'll get a closing scheduled sooner rather than later, within the next month or so, because we might as well just close at that point. Yeah. And then we don't have to worry about any of that. There are some hurdles that have to be cleared through to adjust the plat, to pull the property out and things like that, that will take a little bit of time. So let's just get a date set and get it moving.
Sounds good. Okay, next we have Becky Salaway, INDOT quarter voucher approval.
Good, hi everybody.
Hi there.
I do have a couple of additional things. They were all sent in the email I think you got from Jana. So one of the issues is the voucher, which is for January, February, March, that we prepared to send in. So did everybody have a chance to look at that voucher? It's pretty straightforward. It's very typical of what we normally do. Again, the number's rather high because of the CARES Act grant.
Right.
We've been given our budget or our grant possibility for 2022, so I'm just beginning that grant now. They did give us a slight raise, but it is significantly less than what we were getting through the CARES Act grant. It's kind of back to normal, but with
Right.
a little bump. So once that occurs, we will be able to use the fares. So the fares that we charge are actually being set aside into a separate account. And that is saying that we can't use those funds because of the CARES Act until 2022.
Okay.
So anyway, so just to update you on that.
I do have a question. We got in a voucher for a claim for 2021 funds for Whitley County Council on Aging for 51,000. And I thought our budget on that was 40,000.
It was 40,000, and I had come back in with Don Amber because they were cutting our funds for the matching for the vehicles.
Okay,
And so I had asked for an additional amount because of that.
okay,
So it was adjusted sort of toward the end of the year when everything was sort of changing.
okay.
And so that's what that was about. It was October, I can't remember the date. It was toward the end of the year. We had found out then that they weren't going to do the bands, but they weren't allowing us to use the match funds, which would be the fares.
Okay,
So it's been kind of a crazy, rules are changing very quickly, very frequently, which is, so after we look at the voucher, that's one of the other things that we have to address. So anyway, is the voucher good?
oh, I'm sure it is.
Okay.
If we had talked about it in October, but we'll double check it and make sure, but
But did that happen in a commissioners meeting? I mean, was that
Yes,
something that was taken,
I came
voted on and
to,
approved?
yeah, I think I do remember,
I remember. kind of too.
yeah.
it was not this meeting, it was the full
Council?
Mhm,
Oh, was it a council meeting?
mhm. It was
Well, I think you came here and got
did.
like a favorable
Favorable pass.
recommendation.
Yes, and
And
I
then-
got a favorable pass, and then I had to go to
Okay.
them and talk, and that's,
Okay, that's why, yeah.
okay.
Okay.
Does that make sense? I can probably locate the dates for you if I go back on my calendar.
We can find it.
It'd be the October.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I guess what we need to do is look and make sure that whether it was coming out of county general, the additional, or was it supposed to come out of seated?
Yeah, and I don't recall at this point. I don't have any memory of it.
It was-
But it'll be in the minutes at least, so we'll have to check that.
Okay, just let me know.
Okay,
And yeah, this is the voucher for January, February, March, which is 144,316. And so I just need a signature if you guys are all right with that.
okay. Do I have a motion?
I'll move that we approve the voucher.
Got a motion to approve the voucher for the Council on Aging for January, February, and March.
I'll second.
Got a second? Any discussions? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. Thank you. And that is with, would you amend that with the president to sign the voucher?
Yes, I will include that the president is allowed to sign the voucher.
And I'll second.
Okay, thank you.
The next thing I have is back to the CARES Act and things changing and going back and forth again. So I received this letter from the Indiana Department of Transportation, and we switched from our regular grant funds to the CARES Act July 1 of 2020. So there was $98,297 left on the 2020 grant that we did not claim because we weren't allowed to claim it because of the switchover. So they are now asking for this signature for the de-obligation. So in fact, we have to say, okay, then we're giving that money back to you. So again, It's, it's, so anyway, it adds more to the confusion of the whole thing, but anyway, that's what the second letter is in regards to, is that we are releasing claim to those funds.
Okay.
It is not an optional signature, so we would like to be able to claim them and, but we can't do that. So, but the commissioners need to sign. We did use all of our PTMF funds, our state funds, as directed by INDOT. So all of those funds were used, but the rest of the operating funds were not. So they are, for 2022, they are offering an additional grant opportunity for improvements. So this money, along with everybody else's, is going into this pool, and then you have to rewrite a grant to access any of those funds. So we are looking at requesting cameras. We have cameras in our vehicles, in the old vehicles, but it's quite costly to take them out of the old vehicles and put them in the new vehicles. It's really very expensive. So that's what we're going to ask for grant funds for. And also some disinfecting equipment for the transit vehicles themselves. So we're going to try to claim some of that back if we can, but it would be applied to those kinds of things. Computer updates, routing updates, that kind of thing is all we're allowed to request.
I'll make a motion that we allow, or that we give Commissioner Schrumpf the authority to sign the Indiana Department of Transportation letter.
We've got a motion to approve with the president's signature.
Second.
Got a second? Discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. Thank you.
I have one more thing on the agenda. Usually I don't have this much, so, but today is different. The Indiana Department of Transportation, which Matt had mentioned earlier, has required us to change our procurement policy. So it conforms with the FTA's rules and regs. It only applies to the transit money through INDOT, but it's quite a lengthy document, and I think you'll all receive this in your email. And I do apologize, I couldn't get it out of editing mode, so I know you saw I apologize for that. I couldn't seem to get it to work. But anyway, this is the document. It is very, what would you say, Matt? Very specific and very, very general at the same time.
It's written by a bunch of lawyers. That's
Yeah.
what I would say.
Yeah. So it's, and I would say the majority of the document does not pertain to anything we'd ever be purchasing. It's at $250 or $150,000 procurement up to that dollar amount. And the most expensive thing we buy are the vans, and they tell us where we can buy them from. So I don't know how much of an impact it'll really have, but it has all the I's dotted and T's crossed for what they want for the FTA super circular, which they mentioned several times in that.
Right.
So I have a form here for if the commissioners are interested, we're willing to sign, that adopts this as our procurement policy. It does affect, that the commissioners are actually, you actually get the money and we spend it, but so it has to be signed by the commissioners that you agree to this particular procurement policy.
Okay.
I'll move that we approve the Whitley County Transit Procurement Manual.
Okay, we got a motion.
And I'll second.
Second for discussion.
I just want to make sure that, Matt, you're comfortable with the
Yeah, I mean, I read through it. I think Becky's exactly right that honestly, I don't know that it's ever going to apply to us, but it's one of those things with INDOT, you either do what they tell you or they don't give you the money. And so, I think it's just, they have to check that box on their end. I don't see it causing any problems. It's just, it's not going to create any problems or inconsistencies for us.
Yep.
Any further discussion? Okay, we got a motion and a second to adopt the procurement policy for Council on Aging. Any further discussion? Those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. Thank you.
I do have a hard copy here without all those corrections on it, so if anybody wants it, or if you want to leave it here for the commissioners, I'd be glad to do that.
I'm okay with the e-file of it.
Okay,
Yeah, I don't have a use for the hard copy.
okay,
Thank you.
no problem. And again, of course, if there's any questions or something comes up, feel free to call me, anytime.
Sure, thank you.
I won't know the answer probably, but I'll find it.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
On this one, I signed it on the place where I should have just put my name in there. Do you have another one, or will that work?
No, that's my only copy, but I think it'll be fine.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, that's fine. That'll be
Okay.
fine.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Next on the agenda, we have Brandon Forrester, Highway Department update. Brandon?
I don't have a whole lot today. Probably the most important thing is our rental agreement that sent us for uniforms, and I have not shared that with you physically or the attorney. Our current contract or agreement is good through May 19th, so we've got time. I don't know if you want to have Matt look through that. It's basically the same agreement, other than the prices are different from what we had 5 years ago. So I can,
Did they hit us with an increase on pricing?
well, the prices are less than what we're currently paying, but more than what it was when we signed the original agreement. They slipped in a pretty high increase on us one time that didn't get caught. Because they can, per the agreement, they can do that, but
Yeah, I think Matt should look at that before.
Yeah, we had,
We
and
signed that.
probably, George, you may remember, when I first started, we had a little hiccup with them to begin with. So let's just make sure we don't have another. We worked it out, but it was touch and go there for a bit. So.
okay, well, I only have one copy of what they presented.
Just email it to me if you
I'll
can.
give you a copy of that. We did receive 5 letters of interest for bridge inspection. Chad, myself, and Kevin Alexander will get together and go through those. We have to go through this scoring process for each consultant and look through that process. I believe last meeting I mentioned that we had completed Payzer ratings, updated our GIS, and we're working on a 2021 road program. Got waiting to hear from INDOT. I emailed the district program director, or whatever his title is, to see if he had any idea with when they were going to make an announcement on community crossings, and he said that it is in the governor's office. So it'd be nice to know if we're spending money on that or if we've got money to spend on other needed things. So as soon as I know, I'll let you know on that.
Good.
Other than that, we've been working on drainage, patching, brushing, to not help with our budget. Metal culvert was about doubled in price since the last time we bought it. And so we have enough in our budget for about a load and a half, a semi-load and a half. And that first semi-load is gonna be 6-7 weeks worth of material. So that kind of hurts. But, so we'll keep plugging away with that.
Thank goodness for the early bids on some of our other materials.
Yeah, right. Well, been in contact with our liquid asphalt supplier, you know, because usually we get a de-escalation on our ceiling asphalt, and it doesn't sound like we're gonna get that this year. And so our ceiling asphalt is up quite a bit from last year, at least the as-bid price. A couple years ago, it was good news. We got extra money from the increased fuel tax, and somehow got extra money. I guess it's a good thing we have it, because we'd really be hurting if we didn't.
Yeah. Everything's going up. Any questions for
That's all I
Brandon?
have, yeah.
Thank you, Brandon.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. You're gonna stand in for Jana on the timekeeping?
Yeah, I can just say that we're still waiting on Lau to get final numbers. So she should have that for you at the next meeting. So, wait till then to
We got a
discuss.
motion
Yeah,
to,
I'd move that we table this until the numbers are in.
motion to table.
Second?
Got a second discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. So let us know if you would as soon as possible. Emergency closings policy review. I think we've all had a chance to take a look at that.
Yeah, we tabled this at our last meeting because I hadn't had a chance, but I have since then. And I really feel comfortable with the option 2 that we were presented with. And I can read that aloud if you want me to.
I think that'd be great.
Option 2, the proposed change is in circumstances where a county department or building is officially closed, hourly non-exempt employees will not be paid for hours not worked unless otherwise approved by the Board of Commissioners. Hourly non-exempt employees may utilize PTO. Salaried exempt employees will receive their predetermined amount of pay without deduction of any paid time off. Additional pay or time off will not be granted. And in addition to that, the last sentence of the policy, of course, says any unique or unusual circumstances may be presented to and reviewed by the Board of Commissioners. Only the Board of Commissioners may authorize exceptions to the above policy. I think that really would resolve option 2 with that last statement would really resolve any issues that we've seen with emergency closings.
It's much more black and white. It's makes it.
I agree with Commissioner Banks. I think that it lets our employees know exactly what's going to happen in the event of emergency, unlike the last time. However, it does give us the option to make changes to that if we need to, if something crazy happens.
So with that being said, I'll make a motion that we approve the changes to the emergency closing policy.
Okay, we got a motion to use option 2 for the emergency closings policy.
Second?
Got a second discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. Thank you. Basically, we're just trying to tighten everything up is what we're trying to do. We have had some issues before. So this will help tremendous. Thank you. Next, we got payroll and accounts payable claims. I did look at accounts payable this morning. I had a question for the sheriff on one issue for $29,000 for a yearly payment for services, and found out that it's just one company was bought out by another. It was simple. Other than that, it looked great. The auditor's office is doing a good job.
Great. I move that we approve the accounts payable claims.
Okay, we got a motion to approve accounts payable.
Second.
Got a second discussion. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. Thank you. And we also have the payroll voucher.
I also would make a motion that we approve payroll.
Got a motion to approve payroll.
Second.
Got a second discussion. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. Thank you. Okay, next on the agenda, we have the previous meeting minutes for approval. And that would be April 5th, 2021.
I'll move that we approve April 5th meeting minutes.
Got a motion to approve April 5th, 2021 minutes.
Second.
Got a second? Further discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. Thank you. Hey, Matt, did you have anything further?
I do not.
Commissioner?
Yes, last week I met with Mark Sturdivant at the courthouse and we talked about our security at the main entrance. And as you recall, we did a project with CARES Act funds where we added an entrapment area. There's a few issues with the layout of that were changed by someone who's no longer with us, but basically the flow isn't working. The X-ray machine sits outside, so there's a threat of security. There's a security threat there. So they want to move the X-ray machine into the entrapment area, so they would expand the entire area. And initially, I was opposed to this because we had already gone through the whole process of adding this. But after meeting with him, I'm in favor of it, and I told him I would mention it during the meeting because there's other work where he's going to have to close the main entrance to the courthouse, and he's trying to coordinate so that both projects can happen at the same time. So he's looking for approval to move forward with this. And so I said I would bring it up and try to get approval from, or at least consensus from the two of you.
Is there a funding area for that or not?
So as far as my understanding is that the funds are available, and total project is somewhere around 90,000. I'll let him speak to it. He couldn't be here today, but I just wanted to make sure it was on our radar.
Is this the same thing that the same document that he gave us with the two different options? a
Possibly,
couple
I'm
weeks
not
ago,
sure.
And it's around
Maybe.
90,000. I thought it was about 190. Am I wrong?
I think that's, yeah, I think it's closer to 90.
I think you're
that's the
thinking
general.
about community corrections.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll
Yeah.
move that we let Mark move forward with the courthouse security project.
Okay, we've got a motion.
Only question I have is, how would we fund it? Or, personally, I think CEDAT could sustain the hit of 90,000 for that to move
Yeah,
forward.
and I would agree.
That was my assumption that it was going to come out of, so I'll
Okay.
add that the funds come out of CEDAT.
Okay. Got a motion to approve Mark Sturdivant going forward with the security project at the courthouse with the funding coming from CEDAT.
I'll second.
Got a second discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same.
That was all I had.
I have
Commissioner.
nothing.
Okay. I don't have anything right now. Anything from the public? All for the motion.
So moved.
Adjourned. Thank you, everyone.